Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Next point, check issued by customer for all types of sales or payments, and that is bounced by the bank. Previously, the payment was only because of, for example, invoice. But now, if the customer pay because of anything, not only because of invoice, because of anything, if customer pay through check and the check is dishonored by the bank, of course, how we can manage it. Or we can say the first option was the first method, or this one is the second method. You can use any one. But this one can be used for the invoice, for this inter-sales receipt, for any sort of payment that is made by the customer. But previously was much more suitable for the invoice only, right? So if this is so, how we can manage it with the QuickBooks? So these are the steps that we have to follow. It means we receive the payment, and that is again dishonor. If this is so, step number 1 and step number 2 is the same as it was under the previous step. Receive the payment and deposit to the bank. Again, it is the same here. Receive the payment and deposit to the bank. Unless you deposit to the bank, definitely you cannot understand whether it gets dishonored or not. Let us say, for example, you have deposited to the bank and you are informed that the check is rejected. If this is so, you have to create 2 items. How many items? 2 items. One item for removing the bounce check amount from the bank account. You have to create one item in order to reduce your bank balance. Why? Because previously you have deposited to the bank, your bank balance increased. So once again, you have to do it in order to decrease your bank balance. And how to do this one, how to create this item? Of course, go to the item list, select the other charge. Select what? Other charge. Give a name such as bad check. And of course, it should be non-taxable. But in the account field, select your bank account. Which bank account? The bank account which you have deposited to, right? For example, you have deposited to Azizi Bank. When you create the item by the name of bad check, it should be non-taxable. And in the account, you have to select your bank account, right? So through this way, we can decrease our bank balance. How we can do it? So let us wait for the process. Also create one item for bounce check service charge. What is bounce check service charge? This is the charge that you want to charge on the customer, right? Why? Because when you submit the wrong check to the bank, banker charge you. When the bank charge you, you have to charge your customer. So this is the amount that you want to charge on the customers. For this one also, you have to create an item, go to the item list, select other charge. So this is the other usage of other charge. Give a name such as bad check charge, and this one also should be non-taxable. In the income account, select any income. Why it is income? Because this is the amount that you receive from the customer. So that is why it is the income. Step number 5, go to use register for recording bank charge. It means bank charge you. As I said before, the bank will charge you, you have to charge your customers. So in this case, if the bank charge you for the bounce check, so how can you record it in the QuickBook? You have to record that one as well. And step number 6, go to the customer section, click on invoice to re-invoice the specific customer. But in the item section, select the item you have already created with their value, right? So how we can do the process? Let us do it with the QuickBook, right? Initially, of course, we have to receive a payment. Go for the receive payment. Receive a payment, for example, from Ihsanullah. Yes, there is a payment from Ihsanullah. From Ihsanullah, the payment is equal to how much? 30,000. It is not 60,000. Initially, it was 60, but now it is 30, right? 30,000. So let us say, for example, we have received this one, of course, through check. And let us close this one itself. Okay. And of course, let us deposit this one to the bank as well. Ihsanullah, amount is 30,000. Let us say we have submitted to Kabul Bank, right? That is deposited. And let us say later on we are informed that the check is rejected. If the check is rejected, we have to create 2 items. Go for the list, click on the item, then right click in order to create the new item. So which one to be selected? This one to be selected. So we have to create 2 items. One item by the name of bad check, right? Bad check. And of course, the sub account of nothing, it should be non-taxable. And the income account, which account to be selected? It should be your Kabul Bank account. Why? Because previously you have deposited to your Kabul Bank account, right? So of course, okay, and then next, we have to create one more other charge, one more item, and that one should be for by the name of bad check charge, right? Bad check charge, bad check charge. One item we have created by the name of bad check in order to remove the amount from the bank, as you can see, right? And the second was because of item for bound check service charge. So how we can do it? Do this one once again. Take it non-taxable, but the income account, but in the account you have to select your income account. For example, you can select other income or interest account or bank service. Interest from bank, for example, right? Select this one. Interest from bank itself. Then you can say okay. That is done. Now the next step is you have to go for the customer and you have to re-invoice your customer itself. So where's the invoice? Click on the invoice. Click on the invoice. Select the specific customer from which customer you have received. Previously, we have received from Ehsanullah, right? So cancel this one. We want to re-invoice Ehsanullah. Why we want to re-invoice Ehsanullah? Because previously we received from Ehsanullah and the check is bounced. If the check is bounced, of course, how we can re-invoice to Mr. Ehsanullah. So here basically through issue or through making the invoice, we do two things. We do how many things? Two things. We increase the balance of the customer and we decrease the balance of our bank. Even before making the invoice, let us check the balance of our customer. How much is the balance of our customer, as well as check the balance of our bank as well. Check the balance of our bank. Balance of the bank is equal to how much? Cobble Bank? 24,77,000, right? Something like that. 77,000 is the balance. Also check the balance of the customer. Balance of the customer, which customer? Ehsanullah. Ehsanullah. Balance of Ehsanullah is equal to how much? 1,09,000, something like that. After this transaction, which I'm going to make an invoice, the balance of Ehsanullah will increase, but of course, the balance of the bank will decrease. So now let us see whether this one work or not. Let us go for the invoice. Select the Ehsanullah. As I said, Ehsanullah's balance will increase, but bank's balance will decrease, right? So do this one. In the item, select which item. Do not select the item like, for example, we can say battery and so on. Select the item that we have created before by the name of what? By the name of bad check. By the name of what? Bad check. Select the bad check. Here mention the amount. How much was the amount of the dishonor check? The amount of dishonor check was 30,000. Also, for example, if there is any bad check charge that you want to charge on the customer, select this one as well, bad check charge. How much you want to charge? For example, we want to charge amount of 4,000 on the customers because of the wrong invoice. Why? They have issued the wrong invoice on us, right? So do this one as well. Select this one as well as this one. Now save it. Okay. If you want to check the balance of the bank right now, so definitely balance of the bank decreased. Previously it was 24,70, something like that. Now it is 24,47. Balance decreased. Why decreased? Because you have adjusted the balance of the previous payment to the bank. And now if you check the balance of your customers, balance of customer definitely increased. Check Ehsanullah. Previously it was something 1 lakh. Previously it was 1,09,000. But now it is equal to 1,43,000. If you double click on this one, you can find out the balance. Where is the balance? Okay, leave this one. This one. So it is credited. It is debited by how much? It is debited by 34,000. Why 34,000? Because 30,000 for the invoice and 4,000 for the wrong payment, right? If you double click on this one, you can find out the invoice as well from where you got this one, right? So this was the second way that how you can adjust the invoice if there is any bounce check by the customers, and of course not only for the invoice, for the other types of payment as well, right? And the next step is step number 5. If there is any charges by the bank on you because of the wrong payment of the customer, definitely bank charge you, but you charge the customer. How we can manage this one? Of course, for that purpose, you have to go for the banking and click on the user register. Which bank? Your Cobble Bank. Select your Cobble Bank. In the payee, select to whom you want to pay this one. Of course, you are paying this one to the bank, right? Why you're paying to the bank? Because of wrong check. Click on the bank and select the bank, for example. EIB Bank, for example, or Cobble Bank, for example. Cobble Bank. Why? Because we pay to the Cobble Bank. Save this one. To which account? So select to which account. This is belong to which account. The amount that you pay to the bank because of the wrong payment, of course, that's the coins of expenses. So you can take, for example, bank charge service. And here you mention the amount, how much you pay. For example, we want to pay amount of 2,000 to the bank. But we have charged how much for the customers? We have charged 4,000 for the customers, right? You can save this. So in this way, you have charged the customers, but bank charge you. But bank charge you 2,000, but you charge amount of 4,000 on the customers. And step number 6, go to the customers section, click on the re-invoice. Of course, we made the re-invoice. So re-invoice is done. Account of the customers increased. Account of the bank decreased. Also, the charges made on the we can say on our bank account, or we can say from our bank account. So this is the process that if there is any bounce check charge, if there is any bounce check by the customers for all types of payments, how we can manage it. Step number 1, receive and deposit. Then create 2 items. One item in order to reduce the balance of your bank, and one item in order to charge the card to the customers for the wrong payments. And then you have to use the youth register for the bank charge, and of course, in order to increase your customer balance or decrease your bank balance, go for the re-invoice. But in the items, select those items which you have created, bank check and this one. So this is the process that we can adjust bounce check with the quick.